We're going to make today something called organ cubes. And there's lots of flexibility here in that you don't have to get the perfect organ, or like there's not only this organ you have to get or that organ. Whatever organs my farmer has, I get them. Sometimes he just has chicken livers. Sometimes he just has lamb liver. Sometimes he just has beef heart and thymus. So I'm like, I'll take what I can get. So today I have here two beef parts, and I also have two beef kidneys. And I know this is like, at first it's super squeamish. I was super squeamish, but like, I think a good segue is like chicken organs because they're small, they're easy to cut up, they're not that big of a mess. But I'm just showing you what I have here today. And I'll give you the overview before I actually begin. So I'm going to take these organs and I'm going to chop them up a little bit, not super fine. And then I have my handy dandy food processor here. You can use whatever it is you have to cut it up really well, as best as it can. It won't be as nice as the skin, but it will be ground up. And then once that's ground up, I'll put them combined in a bowl. I'll mix it all together. And then I will portion them. I have a few of these. They're like these silicone things. If you have an ice tray, put them in ice tray cubes. Whatever you have, you just put them in here. And then, let's see, you freeze them. You simply freeze them. You set them in your freezer. And then, yeah, there's a special way to cook it, which I'll show you all next class how to prepare the meat patties. If I'm doing 3 pounds of ground whatever, it could be lamb, pork, beef, I'll use 3 cubes. So per pound, I'll use a cube. And you can work yourself up to that. And if you're like, oh, I'll just use one, that's totally fine. I probably won't be able to get through the entire process, but I will do just some of it to show you. Here is a big, beautiful beef heart. And there's this beautiful fat. Don't throw this away. Just put it in your freezer if you're like, oh, I don't want to mess with it. Yeah, this is such good fat. You can render it to make tallow. It'd be a little bit, but it's still, because it's so close to the heart, it's super nutritious. We don't want to throw that away. So I'm going to just cut this up for you. I'll show you how I cut it. I will go for the fat first. So I'm just going to chop that off. I'll cut it lengthways. So I'm going to continue chopping off the fat. And you just do the best you can. Sometimes you can't get all of it. I know that this here will be troublesome for you see how thick that is? That will be troublesome for my blender. So I'm just going to help it out by cutting it off. Just cutting. And sometimes it just pulls right off, which is super helpful. All right. Now, just going to chop it like so. All right. And into little chunks. Now, processor here. Just a little more fat. Now, for time's sake, I'm just going to do half the heart. I'll just finish it later, but I want to show y'all the consistency and what it all looks like after I do it in my processor here. And it's always better to do less than more when you're using your food processor, especially with the organ meats, because sometimes, like I said, it can get angry at me and stop working. So start with a little bit and then work yourself up. You can also just do one organ. It doesn't have to be a mix. So this is half of a heart in here. I could put more, but for time's sake, I'd probably fill this about halfway. So let's see. I will go ahead and do this. I'm going to mute myself because it is loud. I don't want to hurt anyone's ears. There it is. And I'm going to lift up my spoon so y'all can see the consistency. It's like very fine heart, and it's very easy to hide in any kind of ground beef recipe. I also feed this to my family when we're having meatloaf. I'll put a few cubes in there and no one tells me anything. Normally my husband's like, "Is there liver in here?" I'm like, "Maybe." So anyway, it's very fine, very well ground up. So I will just repeat this process until it's all ground. And if you're using a mixture of organs, be sure to mix them together before putting them in there. Or if you want to keep them separate, you can. That's totally up to you. If you're just like, I just want heart, or I just want liver, I just want kidney, that's totally up to you. These take up freezer space. Once they're frozen, I just put them into Ziploc bags. I'm not a biggest fan of plastic, but if it helps give me more freezer space, I will use it. So these, when I make the batches, I use every single ice thing I have on hand. So I use this and I use my ice cubes. So here's just what they look like. I have only like 5 left. They're a little freezer burnt, but they're still good. And whenever I saw my ground beef, pork, lamb, whatever ground thing I'm making, because these are smaller, I'll probably do 4 cubes to 3 pounds. They're really nutritious, really good for you, really tasty meat patties. And again, it's kind of like with the meat stock where you can mix animal organs, where sometimes I have chicken livers and then I have a lamb kidney and I just put them together in it. One big party and my meat patty.